The squiggly line.
Hello! Hold on.
Hello and welcome.
What did you do?
This podcast, Hatter likes the squiggly line, but I disagree. Let's discuss.
Alright, hold on. Alright.
Did you put the squiggly line back in the show?
You know what? It's back in the show. Okay. Hey, alright. Welcome
hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for this, the
85th episode of Drunk Doctor Who,
wherein we discuss the
Seeds of Doom, the 85th serial of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
The serial was 6 episodes. Alright, today is December 6th, 2021.
Thank you for dropping in your TARDISes and joining us in this adventure back in time, where this episode was filmed January 31st, 1976. We've made it through yet another year of Doctor Who.
Right, to March 6, 1976. Now, the copyright said 75 because that's when it was filmed, but this is when it was aired. Our companion is Sarah Jane.
When's the copyright run out on Doctor Who? Do you think we'll eventually, after 30 more years, be able to do live streams of Doctor Who?
Okay, that depends. In the United States, a copyright currently lasts 95 years. Okay? Now, Doctor Who is about to be 60 years old. So literally in 35 more years, we could broadcast us watching and streaming the entirety of the first serial. However, each serial is going to have its own copyright date. Now, the characters will become public domain as their earliest appearance hits. So the Doctor in like 35 years here in America will, depending on when it was first aired here, will actually become public domain, but it's still a ways off.
So all the third-party apocrypha is illegal because it was still under trademark?
Not exactly. Okay.
So would it be in fair use if we aired an episode while providing live commentary?
It would be technically for so
educational purposes.
No. It goes under criticism. Okay. So when you have people who are criticizing something, especially movies and TV, critiquing, you can show bits of it for that. So we could literally splice in bits of the serial while we're talking about it if that was our style.
It's
not been our style.
We should call that podcast Show Bits.
But you can only do so much. So you cannot splice in more than 10, 20%, something like that. It's a certain amount of time or a percentage of for critical review is what it's called.
Critical. That's also
critical
a good
review.
podcast name.
So it is.
I think that's already a podcast.
So we could do that if we wanted to, but that's not our style. We're more of a long format, straight through, no edits, generally speaking, which means, of course, we don't get watched much, but
AKA we apologize.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because we're not doing it for views or numbers or subscribers. We're doing this so we can have fun.
I'm doing it for views.
No. We're doing it to have fun, to watch Doctor Who, and to drink.
Shoes are coming off.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Where are we drinking today, Henry?
Magma Flame. You?
Mike's Hard. Lemonade. Sugared up a bit.
Sugared up a bit.
I didn't stir it.
Did you put extra sugar in it?
Shaken, not stirred. What?
Sugar.
I mean, I'm not drinking what I normally drink.
True. You're not on twisted tea, although we have 2 or 3 of those in the refrigerator.
I might get to those.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Those were for you.
Okay.
But now you're on keto.
Now I'm on keto. I could probably have one and be fine, but yeah. I would.
Or a lemonade. You want a lemonade? I have plenty.
I would actually prefer the twisted tea.
Okay.
But I've got my Magma Flame, so I'm good. You may need those. All right.
You ever feel like branching out from Magma Flame?
Yeah.
Lowering the menu.
Rum, vodka,
do you have
Crown Royal.
Do you have a favorite rum? Crown Royal's good.
Yeah, Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
I like Captain Morgan.
So you stick with Russian Standard, Magma Flame, Captain Morgan? Those are your drinks of choice.
Crown Royal. And Tito's. I will drink Tito's. It's almost as good as Russian Standard, but not quite to my taste. But I do like
Texas.
it. Yeah, I like it. It's good. I like Tito's. It's straight up good vodka. I mean, not the best, but straight up good vodka. All right, so this cereal is unique for several reasons. First of all, it's the first of the 6-parters that finish up a season of Tom Baker. So remember, last season we had, it was like 4, 4, 2, 6, 4, something like that. Because we had the Genesis of the Daleks in the middle. And then a little 2-part Santaran experiment. Mm-hmm. All right, now, that's his first season. For the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th seasons of Tom Baker, it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6.
They stick with that 4, 4, 4, 4, 6.
No, 5 4s and then 6.
So it goes 5, 4, 4,
no.
4, 4, 6?
You're being obtuse. All right, it's 5 4s and then a 6. So 6 cereals per season. And the 6-parter is the finale. And that runs for 5 seasons. And this is the first one of those. Then his 7th season is a little different again. It's different in several different ways. But
7 seasons is a lot.
It is for any particular doctor. He's the longest serving doctor, the best doctor in my opinion, my favorite, and he's the longest serving both in number of seasons and in number of episodes.
Do you think because of his longer exposure, does he experience the most character development? Does he more or less really stay the same? I noticed some differences in this serial specifically.
There are some differences. He's angrier in this serial. He's more
shouting,
brusque. Yeah.
Rough.
Well, he's trying to save the world, and he knows how bad the stuff is. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, our enemy.
Oh yeah, I forget that. Who was our enemy?
Well, mainly
the crinoid.
Crinoid, yeah. So. The doctor does develop over time. Tom Baker does because he has a lot of time. I think the first doctor actually develops more because he's starting out rough and he gets more avuncular later on.
Hartnell's pretty rough all the way through.
No, he got a lot more avuncular as time went on. They got to Vicky, and he was a lot nicer by that point, like in the Romans and stuff like that. He became more, like I said, avuncular as time went on. Anyway, so several doctors do develop as they go along. Most of them have the same basic personality traits, but if they stay long enough, they do develop in certain ways. Tennant did that, the 10th Doctor. Obviously Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor, does that, the 1st Doctor. And that's not including the very first few episodes where they're still finding their footing, still finding their style, their not necessarily gimmick, but their method of operation.
I feel like Troutman came out the gate having it figured out. He was pretty consistent all the way. I feel like Troutman was probably the most consistent doctor we've had.
He was. He came out of the gate with certain idiosyncrasies, like the recorder, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But being the very first regeneration, he had to, he had to actually establish himself well, and he did a great job. If it wasn't for Troughton, I don't think the show would still be going, Did a great job. Alright, so anyway.
Speaking of the show. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, 6 episodes. Finale for season 13. 3, 3, 5. Yeah, 13. Anyway, we're continuing the Hammer horror style of serials, which was a big thing here. And there you go. This one very much starts out like The Thing, and the preceding movies that The Thing was based off of.
That's just for our audio listeners.
Right, where you find stuff in Antarctica and it comes back to kill everyone. It eventually devolves into Day of the Triffids, if you have seen or read that.
Horrors. Mm-hmm. You get some James Bond in there.
Oh my! The villain is such a James Bond villain. My wife kept saying that over and over again. She was watching it with us.
The black gloves.
Yeah, he never took his gloves off.
He did eventually take his gloves off.
When?
When he's taking the photos and then they never came back on.
Wait.
I think he was just barehanded for the rest.
Was he?
For the past 5 and 6, I think he didn't have any gloves on. But man, he had gloves off for the first 4 episodes. And
he was very much a Bond villain. It's like, yeah, let me put you in this compost thing. It'll destroy you, but I'm gonna leave and not watch you die.
I'm gonna set it to automated. I shall tell you my plan, give you the tour of my house, and then walk away to let you die.
Yeah.
It's like, gee, thanks.
Very James Bondish. Very The Thing. Very Day of the Triffids.
Very Seeds of Doom.
Yeah, and the Crinoid, I'll let you know now, is a one-shot.
Never comes back.
It never comes back. Not
as of yet. Just the 2 of them. It sounds like they seeded these time bombs on just throughout the galaxy.
Well, yeah, basically, supposedly the Crinoid home planet, where this vegetative matter has, these plants have taken over and basically eaten all the animal life, eaten anything with protein, all that. Venus flytrap just consumes anything animal matter. Shoots up these spores into space, and they're always in pairs, a brace of them. And so apparently this happens, and a couple made to Earth like 10 or 20,000 years ago. And they're stuck in the permafrost of Antarctica. Mm-hmm. So they must have, come in on the south side of the planet. Anyway.
Never come back.
Alright. So episode 1 opens up. We have a small Antarctic base. It's the great, base siege scenario. We have a small Antarctic base. And there's 3 people working on the base. What are their names?
Charles, John, and Derek. Charles Winnett, John Stevenson, and Derek Moberly.
Yeah, Moberly.
We have our Derek Moberly, the zoologist. We have John Stevens with the lamb chops. He's the botanist. Mm-hmm. And then Charles is just another dude, yeah.
I believe he's something else. You're the zoologist, the botanist.
Probably the geologist.
Yeah, I think he's a geologist. Anyway, so they discover, much like in The Thing.
Why did you send a zoologist to Antarctica?
In case you find life.
Populated.
In case you find life. That's all. Why would you send a botanist to Antarctica? Same scenario.
Why would you send anyone to Antarctica, really?
Research. Literally, it's all research.
The lesson to be learned here is the more research you do, the bigger the chances of humanity ending horribly.
Yeah, don't dig around in Antarctica. Watch The Thing. If
always you need to. Aliens, always.
Ice warriors. Yeah. Alright. Oh, no, that's in the modern stuff.
On Mars?
Okay, in the modern stuff, there's an ice warrior that gets found either in the Arctic or in the Antarctic by a Russian sub during the Cold War, and threatens to launch the nukes from the nuclear sub, and it's a pretty good episode. It's got this great guy from all the 80s movies. You remember Time Bandits? Mm-hmm. There's a guy on the sub who's like a janitor, but he was the devil or death in Time Bandits.
The Supreme Being?
No, not the Supreme Being. Oh. The bad guy who was imprisoned in the thing, yeah. Show me more. Show me, subscription dialing. Show me, he was the one. Yeah, the bad guy. So
Not Sean Connery.
No. He was the bad guy in so many 70s and 80s movies. He's the bad guy in Tron. Anyway,
What's the name of the bad guy in Tron?
Do you know?
No. It's like the third time I've asked this question on the podcast because he keeps coming up. And
Well, because he was in stuff. I think it's...
Have you seen the original Tron?
Yeah.
I haven't.
In the theater, first run? But you haven't seen Tron?
I saw the remake.
No, it wasn't a remake. You're talking about the sequel?
The sequel. The revival.
No, it was actually a sequel.
After so many years, the sequel is the revival.
Well, kind of, but no, that was a direct sequel. I think he's called the operating system in the original movie.
Oh.
I think. Okay,
it's a quote from...
Write Tron on the movie list.
On the movie list?
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen the original Tron. I saw it when it originally came out.
I've practically seen it.
Disney stocks dropped when they announced they were making a movie with just computer animation. Because computers were not as good back then. By a long shot.
You know the first animated film? CG animated film? It's Toy Story.
Oh, fully
computer.
Okay.
Computer
fully computer animated film.
Yeah. Not hand-driven.
No, I'm hold on, I'm thinking.
I don't have the movie list is like in 2 pages now.
Maybe
I'll write Sean here.
Maybe the first
Get to eventually.
feature length.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had shorts and stuff.
Yeah, let me see the list. No.
Clerks and Clerks 2.
Tropic Thunder. This is Spinal Tap. Zoolander 2, Very Bad Things, Weird Science, Drop Dead Fred, Aliens.
Still haven't watched Aliens. That's next.
Southland Tales.
We never watched Dune.
Terminator 1 and 2. You haven't seen the Terminator?
I've never sat down and just watched them. I'm sure I've seen a lot of it.
Very Bad Things.
I've seen.
You have Southland Tales on here twice.
Oh.
You give me the pen. Alright. Knowing. I love that movie.
We watched that one.
Did we? Okay. So
with what's the name? That's where the little black rocks.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Okay. Being John Malkovich.
Haven't seen it.
Spartacus. Devil's Advocate. Dark City. Dune. We watched Dune.
We watched Dune. We didn't watch the new Dune.
No.
I don't think we're going to.
You're right. We got it 1985 and 2021. We'll watch it eventually. I just have to get it on Blu-ray.
You've already seen
4K. 4K. Scanners.
I'll watch it.
Kill Bill Volume 2. What the hell is that doing on this list?
It's a great movie.
I never finished the first one. Listen, took out the disc. All right. Logan's Run.
It's also Pulp Fiction.
Black Swan. Clerks and Clerks 2. Josie and the Pussycats.
Write down Pulp Fiction.
No, I've seen Pulp Fiction. You've seen Pulp Fiction. The Wicker Man. Gattaca. Thief and the Cobbler.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Alright. You start using the in-between lines.
I wrote down Toronto. A little bitty in-between.
Alright, so next week, what do you say we do one of the movies?
Yeah, Aliens?
Let's go with something stranger.
I like Aliens.
Southland Tales.
Is that scary? Is that something I want to watch?
Is
that like
It's not scary. Alright. Do you like
So like Time Bandits?
No. Alright. It has The Rock.
Oh, okay.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar.
You had me at The Rock.
And
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Alright, who's the guy with Dude, Where's My Car?
What?
There's a movie called Dude, Where's My Car?
It's in the driveway.
No.
I saw it when I pulled up.
Okay, you know American Pie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the guy,
I'm never going to be able to answer that question.
Okay. Anyway, it's got The Rock. It has the Sarah Michelle Gellar. You've seen Poltergeist, right?
I don't watch scary movies. I've seen The Exorcist. Is it like that? Is it?
Poltergeist.
Don't write it down.
Alright. Have you seen...
You've
seen The Princess Bride, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know the little guy, Inconceivable?
Inconceivable. Yeah.
He's in it.
Okay.
Kevin Smith's in it.
Okay. Kevin Smith.
Yeah. And John Larroquette. You probably don't know who he is, but John Larroquette's in it.
You watch Jay and Silent Bob?
No, that's Kevin Smith.
Yeah. You watch his movies?
Yeah, I've seen all of his movies.
You watch
most of them are good. Some of them suck.
What was the one with Alan Rickman and he has wings?
Dogma.
Dogma.
Good movie. Tusk really sucked.
I like Tusk.
No, it was horrible.
Is it true what they say? Man, there's walrus at heart.
Horrible movie. Alright, hey.
I didn't even know Kevin Smith made that movie.
Yes, Kevin Smith made that movie. Alright,
what's his face from Jeepers Creepers? What's his name?
Long.
Yeah, Justin Long.
Can't really remember that. Alright, so anyway, next week we'll watch Southland Tales. It'll be fun. We'll do Heroes and Villains. Which is nice because it's a break between the seasons, and so it's a good time to do that.
Yeah, perfect time.
Alright.
We'll watch Aliens.
No. Southland Tales.
Tron.
You don't want to see Southland Tales?
I don't know if I do. Usually if it's something you want to see, it's something I don't want to see.
No, I want to see Clerks and stuff like that, and those are great movies.
Okay, alright.
Anyway. Alright.
The Heist? Is that on the list?
No. Alright, so this is Doctor Who, okay? Alright, anyway, so...
That is so off topic.
No, you do.
That was all
No. Some of it was me. Alright, episode 1. These guys digging in Antarctica find a spore, a pod.
Coconut.
They take it back to the base. There's only 3 of them. And it starts growing under light. The botanist puts it under a kind of an ultraviolet heat lamp thing, and it starts growing. Eventually, it breaks open, and there's a sort of branch-like thing, and
a shoot.
It grabs the guy and infects him, and he starts turning into a plant monster. In the meantime, the doctor's been called up by, what's that guy's name? Thackeray? Sir Colin Thackeray or something?
Dunbar? Oh, Colin Thackeray.
Yeah, Sir Colin Thackeray.
Mm-hmm. So he's been being sent to Antarctica.
Right. Apparently, the doctor's working with the unit, but the brigadier is still in Geneva, forever in Geneva, because they don't want to do full unit. So we don't have Sergeant Benton. We don't have the brigadier.
We don't have what's his face.
What's his face?
Backstabber guy.
Corporal Yates.
Yates. Yeah. Yates.
Well, no, he's not with the unit any longer anyway. But anyway, so the doctor gets sent by Sir Colin Thackeray. He says, "Look at these pictures. This is his pod." And the guy's like, Doctor's like, "Don't have them touch it. Do not touch it. Anything you do, don't touch it." And the doctor heads off to Antarctica. He shows up there with Sarah Jane Smith. She's in this super fur coat thingy, the kind that I wore when I went into that, ice bar in Vegas.
Faux fur.
Yeah. They show up. The doctor is still in his normal garb, the scarf, the jacket, and the coat, and they all kind of lend themselves to that. But he doesn't act as if the cold affects him at all.
He never puts on a pair of gloves.
Yeah,
he's digging through the snow, no gloves.
Yeah, he's just there in Antarctica at 40 below, just kind of digging around.
Because he's a Time Lord.
Yep. He's got a double circulatory system, so that helps with the heat, I guess.
Respiratory bypass system.
Yeah.
So he can breathe through his butthole.
No. Alright.
Helps maintain heat, body heat.
Okay. Anyway, so the doctor shows up, and this guy who got hit with the thing, who was watching, what was his name? Wheeler?
Charles Winlet was the first one infected.
Yeah. He's basically turning into this plant man monster. So we have the base siege where he's turning this plant man monster, and the doctor is like, this is bad. Okay, so we need... Don't touch him. Do not touch him whatsoever. We need to amputate his arm to attempt to save him.
He's turning into a plant.
Yeah.
So the infection already spread to his whole body, but the doctor says that his arm is,
the source of the infection.
The source of the infection. So maybe we amputate it, it'll help, which begs the question, what kind of, do they use medical dressing or salad dressing for that wound?
That's horrible. Medical dressing.
So the zoologist guy, Derek Moberly.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to do this. And the doctor's like,
the doctor says,
you're the only one qualified.
Moberly says, you're the doctor. You were sitting here because, we needed medical help because this guy was infected.
And Sergey's like, he's not a doctor of medicine.
The doctor says, you must help yourselves, which, I think the doctor knows how to amputate a limb, right? Does he not? Better than a zoologist? It kind of came across as he was just really not willing to take a...
Well, hold on. I think he wants to help them help themselves, but I'm actually trying to think if I've ever seen the doctor amputate a limb.
He's done, medical stuff, though.
He does do medical stuff.
He has a thorough understanding of
He eventually... Stuff. Wait, I think it was the second doctor who said he had a medical degree from Habsburg or somewhere, Germany.
I think Troughton and Pertwee hint on the fact that they're capable doctors.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever actually seen him in the show amputate a limb.
Because it's a children's show.
Well, no.
For now.
Speaking of which, this is the serial that made Doctor Who a family show rather than a children's show. So we always say children's show, but it does change after the serial. Between this season and next season, the show, thanks to many people who wrote in, mostly Mary Whitehouse, I think what her name was, or Wittenhouse or something, the show was upgraded from children's show to family show. And it's funny because they didn't want the show to be that violent, but once it became a family show, it went a little more violent. And that's shown in the next several seasons.
And it's shown in this episode's end card. So they're about to get started on the procedure, but then there's a knock at the door, big commotion. Johnson comes in with these two guys that we're assuming are part of the separated medical squad that was radioing in. Mike Wilson was a medical marine radioing in because they're radioing for medical help, but they're diverted because of the snowstorm. Anyway, the procedure gets interrupted because there are these two guys that walk in, and they assume that they're part of the medical squad that got separated.
No, they just assume, they find out they're a plane that needed to land. But okay,
yeah.
Well, so this guy from The Office, Dunbar.
Yes.
Dunbar.
Dunbar.
Tells the secret of the pod and all this other stuff to Chase. This
Mr. Chase Harrington.
But no, his last name's Chase.
Harrison.
Harrison Chase.
Oh,
yeah,
Mr. Harrison Chase.
Right, this megalomaniac millionaire, just round the bend, insane botanist. And Chase is like, I must have this. So he sends his guys, Dunbar.
Well, Dunbar is his double agent and
So he sends his guys
Scoober and
Keeler
Arnold Keeler
down there. So we're in Antarctica. I mean, this could have been 8 episodes. This moves at a clip. Right, he sends Scoober and Keeler. They go in and they're like, okay, we were almost out of fuel. We're glad we found you. Great. And they get left there. No, not yet. So the others go and they're looking at the patient again, and that's when they decide they have to amputate his arm. And then the doctor, and then they're trying to set up the main laboratory so they can do this to the patient.
They walk out of the procedure because the 2 came in, right?
Well, no.
That's what interrupted them from...
No. They were about to do it, and then the zoologist goes out as he's preparing it, and he sees Wheeler. What's his name? Wheeler?
Which one?
The guy who was struck and turned into a plant. Wheeler, right?
Derek.
Yeah, Derek Wheeler?
Oh, no, Charles.
Wheeler, though, right?
Winlet.
So Winlet's up and he's moving, and he goes, oh, hey, you need to get back in. And this horrible, hideous, plant-like swamp thing creature goes to Winlet and goes to... What's the zoologist's name?
Derek.
And he chokes him to death. And that literally is the end of episode 1. And it's literally the scene that caused Doctor Who to go from a children's show to a family show between the seasons.
Which, I mean, it wasn't really as violent as we...
It's
a dark serial. It's a dark serial, but we've seen people get choked out before.
But not by a huge, hideous plant monster thing.
Just huge, hideous robot monsters.
Right, but this is a very special, weird scenario. Anyway, very violent serial. How many deaths do we have?
10, I think.
10. Alright, so episode 2, they show the choking scene again. And then Sarah Jane finds our zoologist. What's his name?
Derek.
Yeah, the zoologist. Yeah, Moberly. Finds him dead. So we have 2 people who basically died. And so they figure out that he's gone outside. So they go get some guns.
2 people, meaning the guy that's been affected by the plant, we're also considering
he's dead. Yeah. The doctor says several times.
Not because it showed him get choked twice.
Right. So we have the zoologist and the geologist both dead. In the meantime, Scobie has disarmed the rifles there at the station. And so the botanist comes in. What's his name?
John. Stevenson.
He comes in, Stevenson. He grabs a rifle, but he doesn't know it's disarmed.
That's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
Check if it's loaded.
And, well, they had no... I mean, I'm assuming it's always loaded. They had no idea that Scobie disarmed it.
Like a Matrix.
Exactly.
Why do you always do that? You remember that scene?
Which
was that scene in the movie?
In what movie?
It might have just been in the video games, the first Matrix movie.
What scene?
Where he checks the handgun and she asks, why do you always do that? He always checks to see if his handgun's loaded while they're in the Matrix.
I don't think it was in the movie.
Might have just been in the video game. I don't know.
So they go out chasing after the plant monster dude, not knowing that the rifle's not loaded.
Because they didn't check.
turns out that there is a half a mile away. There's this plant.
Mile and a half.
No, half a mile.
Mile and a half.
Half a mile.
It's a mile
There's
and a
this
half.
building that has a new fuel cell that they're testing out there, which is kind of sad because eventually it gets destroyed and we don't know if the fuel cell is good or not in Antarctica. We don't even know what type of fuel cell
They
it
had to put
is.
it a mile and a half away because it's dangerous.
Half a mile.
Mile and a half.
What would you care to wager on this?
We got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so
Whoever wins gets to pick out next week's movie.
deal.
Okay. Mile and a
Well,
half.
from the list.
From the list.
From the list.
From the movie list.
From the list.
I'm gonna add up
So it's half a mile. Alright, so we're going to be watching Southland Tales.
Kill Bill Volume 2 is on the list.
No, I scratched it off.
Still on the list.
No, I scratched it off.
Just because you put more ink on top of the ink doesn't mean the ink's
No.
not.
I haven't seen the first one. Alright. I watched half an hour of the first one. Alright.
Alright, we'll watch the first one.
No. Alright, it's not on the list. Alright, so anyway, they go out chasing him. Turns out...
It's a firm handshake, Harry.
Cool, thank you. Turns out the plant monster thing is smart enough to go around and away. They go into the building, they don't find him, they leave, they head back.
The doctor describes it as the plant monster is seeking food, nourishment, protein, and heat, warmth, shelter. So the plant monster leaves the hut with the people, the food, and the warmth, walks a mile and a half, or half a mile, to a different building with no food and no heat. It's like,
Well, it had heat. It didn't have any food.
I'm sure they're not heating the generator building.
Well, I mean,
It had no food.
protected from the elements anyway. But anyway, so
So it does exactly the opposite of what the doctor describes it doing.
in the meantime, the two bad guys, Scobie and Keller,
Scorby and Keeler.
Keeler and Scobie, they are really looking for the pod. I mean, they're tearing the place up looking for the pod. They find the pod that opened, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is horrible! The pod's already opened, germinated." It's not quotes; it's a real word. Germinated, as Keeler says, and then eventually they head back. Doctor and Sarah Jane and what's his name? John Stevenson. They head back and they get captured by Scobie and Keeler. At gunpoint. Yeah, at gunpoint.
John also points his gun back at them, pulls the trigger, click.
But click because it was disarmed, which sucks.
But props for, pulling the trigger. At least he tried.
Props for being willing to shoot the bad guys, even if you don't do it.
That mostly doesn't happen.
Correct.
Like, how many unit soldiers have we seen, point at
Children's show. I mean, it technically still is a children's show for the entire serial. It's only a family show starting next season. Alright, so
this serial is pretty dark.
it is, which is one of the reasons it became a family show.
It's even darker. I hear it gets really dark. Oh, this guy. Right?
No.
No?
No.
Who's the dark doctor?
The Sixth Doctor, upper left.
Oh.
Yep, Colin Baker.
Not dark with Alan Rickman here?
It's not Alan Rickman. That's Steve McGann.
That's Alan Rickman.
No, it's Steve
They're
McGann.
definitely related.
Well, they're both British, not even English, British, but no, it's Steve McGann. Anyway, so they could be distantly related.
I miss Alan Rickman.
Yeah, me too. You know how old he was when he died?
69?
Exactly. Exact same age as David Bowie, and died the same year. Really sad.
Both with cancer, right?
Something like that.
That's so strange.
Alright, so
We lost A lot of celebrities. And was that 18, 19?
Something like that, yeah.
17?
No.
17? 16?
No, we weren't in this house yet.
16?
Yeah,
we lost a lot of celebrities like
Bowie died while we were still in our old house, which was like 5.5 years ago. So like 15
I was
or
in this
16.
House. You weren't in this house. I was squatting here.
No, you weren't. Alright. So anyway.
Who lived here before you?
I don't know, Zamed or somebody like that. We still get mail from him every once in a while.
I was Zamed's roommate.
Alright, so anyway. Alright, the doctor and okay, the good guys are captured by bad guys. And they find the second pod. Because the doctor insisted on going back out into the frost, the permafrost, and looking, because he knew there would be a second pod, because they always travel in pairs, like policemen. Mm-hmm. They find the second pod. They threaten to shoot the doctor. He doesn't flinch. They threaten to shoot Stormson, or whatever his name is, Stevenson. He doesn't flinch. And then they threaten to shoot Sarah Jane. The doctor flinches, because, it's Sarah Jane. And so they tell him there's one in the freezer. They go get it. They put it in this thermal thing.
I think the camera's too low.
Maybe. Who knows? All right. Anyway.
Let us know in the comments below.
If the camera's too low, or if you can see us directly for the first time.
If you're uncomfortably close.
No, that's a little wide. All right. So anyway, all right. So the doctor goes ahead and they're about to shoot everybody, and Scorby gets a better idea, says, okay, he grabs Sarah Jane, he has...
By better idea, he means a worse idea.
Yeah, he takes Sarah Jane, they go out to the fuel cell hut that powers everything, and he's going to blow it up, blow her up with it, and freeze the doctor and Stevenson to death.
Causing the powerhouse to blow up.
Oh,
also blows
everything,
up the base for no reason, and also makes no sense why they place it 1.5 miles or half a mile away if it's still going to cause a chain reaction through the pipe. What's the point of putting it further away if it still blows up the base when it blows up?
Who knows? All right. So
doesn't make any sense.
Correct. So the thing gets set up, and I think it's counting down, and that's where episode 2 ends, right?
The end of episode 2 is when everything explodes.
Oh, okay. So it's counting down. The bad guys leave in their plane. The
doctor does a little shimmy hop over to the gas lanterns, knocks one off the peg with his hook, breaks, and then he and Johnson
picks up the glass, uses it to cut the cords between him and Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
They get away. Stevenson is warning the people not to come. We're trying to get there, and the doctor goes to find Sarah Jane. He finds her in the hut. He rescues her. They are about to get out of there. They see the plant monster thing. They kind of get chased around for a bit, and then they manage to get out. They lock the plant monster thing in there, and they run and run and run. The doctor's trying to tell Stevenson, but he's already been killed by the plant monster thing, by the crinoid. He's already been killed by it, and then everything blows up. The doctor and Sarah Jane are stuck in the snow. End of episode 2.
The crinoid traveled 1.5 miles or half a mile within a minute.
4 or 5 or something. To be fair,
because the doctor took a snow scooter to go from the base to the power plant.
To be fair, man can run a 4-minute mile. So you can cover half a mile in 2 to 3 minutes, or 4 if you're walking even really quickly.
I don't know why we'd be sprinting though.
Well, once you get there, it's cold outside. It's 40 below outside. You want to move quickly. All right, so
it's hinting at the intelligence of the crinoids.
Alright, so we've had like 2 days so far. One day they find the thing, and then the doctor finds out about it. He heads over there. The second day they arrive, and all this is going on. Now it's nighttime of the second day. The episode ends, and it shows up on the third episode, which is the third day, and Sarah Jane is found in the ice by the medical team that came from the other base. Mm-hmm. They find her. She looks for the doctor. They find the doctor. He says good morning. They assume that everything's blown up, everything's good, and they make their way back to the United Kingdom from Antarctica. They go talk to Thackeray.
Dunbar.
Oh, I talked to Dunbar.
He's really the inside man who leaked. And then Colin Thackeray walks in and he's like, "You're not suggesting that there's a leak." And it's like, how else would they find out
exactly
about the coconut thing? It's like, well, what could be their motives? Money? So
he knew exactly because Dunbar did sell them out for the money. We don't get an exact figure, but it seems to be
a suitcase, a briefcase of money.
Right, maybe a couple 100,000 British pounds or something.
He pays £1,000 for a painting.
Yeah, he did. All right, so the doctor and Sarah Jane are trying to figure out what's going on, but they're supposed to be dealt with. Dunbar goes to Chase and tells him they survived, which is amazing because everybody there was supposed to be killed and blown up. Dunbar doesn't like the fact that all those people were killed. He's like, wait a second, this is too much. This is too high a cost. Chase tells him, nah, not really. Not for this. Dunbar says, well, these people survived, so
the butler Hargreaves comes in to tell Mr. Chase that his driver had been hospitalized because the doctor.
It's later. That's later.
What?
It's later.
Oh.
The doctor and Sarah Jane are leaving the world. What's it called? The world plant thingy or whatever. The World Botanical Society or whatever.
Oh. I don't remember.
You didn't get that? All right. So they're leaving this office, which is the only bureau that knows about the pod. They're leaving, and the driver's supposed to be taking them to the National Botanical Society. Mm-hmm. And he takes them on a dirt road. Then he takes a gun, and he's going to kill them. The doctor and Sarah Jane manage to escape, and in the process, they load the driver into what looks like a sulfur plant with all the yellow cake and stuff. And then the doctor jumps on him, like from this place above, and slugs him so hard. I mean, just puts him in the hospital. Like, good for you, doctor. Yeah, Tom Baker. Thank you. Vesuvian, jiu-jitsu or whatever coming through again. Aikido. Taekwondo, whatever. Venetian Fu. Yeah. All right, so the doctor just slugs him. So, they go and they take the car.
They find a painting in the trunk, or the boot.
In the trunk, the boot. Yeah, it's called the boot. And they find the lady who painted it, and she's a great character. Love her character. Yeah, she's very eccentric and eclectic and interesting. She remembers that it was Chase who purchased it from her some 30 or 40 years ago. Grace place Chase. And he never paid her. Okay. So
multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Well, she just says millionaire, but yeah. So they go to Chase's place, the doctor taking off his...
I'm adjusting for inflation.
Green hat. Taking off his...
He's wearing a green hat?
I just want it to be brown.
But every time he's further away, it looks like it's brown. It's not... You can't tell it's green, like a dark green, until it's like a close-in shot. Maybe it's been green the whole time. We never noticed.
And he puts on the chauffeur's cap, and they manage to get in the gate, and they get onto the grounds of Chase's estate. And oh my gosh, gorgeous estate. Apparently it's 600, 700, 800 years old. Beautiful. I'm surprised he's not titled. He's just Mr. Chase and not a lord or something.
Hedges.
But apparently his family has had money forever and been doing this forever, and there's so much greenery on the estate.
Yeah, botany is not that profitable.
It can be.
If you're trademark something.
But anyway, so the Doctor and Sarah Jane are trying to find the pod. In the meantime, the pod has gotten back to Chase, and he's trying to figure out how to make it germinate. And he's telling Keeler to do all these experiments on it. They x-ray it, they microscope it.
Penicillin. The guy that discovered penicillin for mold was a botanist. Sold the trademark for like $1 to every company so they could make their own penicillin.
Cool.
Never really made any money off it. Right?
It's Louis Pasteur, right?
I think so. I don't know if I'm remembering that right or.
I think it's Louis Pasteur, yeah.
But then he just basically gave away his life's work for the sake of humanity.
Mankind, yeah.
So probably the most profitable discovery in botany made no money.
No, but it saved countless lives.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, how does Mr. Chase make any money?
Well, he's doing things differently, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't go into the origins of his wealth, but based on the estate, you assume it's a long inherited family money, you know?
Rich people are bad, by the way. All bad guys are rich people, and all rich people are bad guys.
That is not true.
It's true.
Either way, no. Lots of rich people are great guys, and lots of bad guys are poor. That's why they become bad guys, a lot of them.
If the evil rich people would give their money to the poor man, they wouldn't have to be bad guys.
God, no. No.
So really, capitalism's at fault here.
No. Alright, ignore him. Okay. So, the Doctor and Jane are trying to get into the building. They get chased by guards with automatic weapons.
They get chased by Chase's guard.
Right. They eventually get caught. They get taken in the building, and Scorby's like, "Oh, thanks for showing up, guys. Very great of you."
Save me some.
Yeah. By the way, he looks like an evil Tom Green. That's what my wife said. He does actually. They get led in the building, and Chase gives them a tour, and then he's going to kill them. In the meantime,
isn't it nice they give them the tour first?
Yeah, and they get to see his greenhouse, his botanical works, and he's playing music to the plants.
So something interesting happens when you hook up electro sensors to mushrooms or plants. There's these bioelectrical signals that actually make tones when you're reading the electrical impulses given off by plants or mushrooms. And the music that he made with his weird electrical organ kind of sounds like electrical impulses that plants get off. If you ever YouTubed mushrooms making music, it sounds a lot like that, which is I thought was really interesting.
This is a real thing.
This is a real thing. If you hook up little diodes to a mushroom and you convert the electrical impulses to an audio, it sounded a lot like what he was playing.
Color me skeptical, but okay.
I'll show you the video. It's really cool.
No, I'm good, but okay. Text it to me or link it to me. Yeah. All right.
I'll put it, and I probably won't. Look it up. Just Google mushrooms music. Mushrooms making music.
Oh, you need to go get yourself a drink. All right. Wait. Where's the end of episode 3? Because we're getting there.
Plant opens. Two to Sarah.
So anyway,
don't forget about neck crack.
Okay, so
I wrote that down.
yeah,
Neck crack. Plan opens to Sarah.
So the pod's beginning to open. The second one, of course, the first one's done. It's beginning to open on the estate of Mr. Chase. Killer's observing it, and he puts some nitrate or whatever into it. It's opening, and so the music gets stopped, and Chase goes to Killer in the Special Operations Unit, and he's looking at it, he's like, oh, yeah, put more into it. He's like, no, I don't want to. This is bad. This is so bad. Chase makes him do it, and then the doctor and Sarah Jane are being led to a prison room before they're being executed, and they manage to escape, which is really nice. The doctor uses more kung fu, and they get away. They end up getting caught again. She first, then later he. She gets caught. She gets brought back. Lots of chase, lots of gun scenes, all that kind of stuff. Chase scenes, very, very, very James Bondish and James Bond villain and all that kind of stuff. Really good, actually. Really good serial. Sarah Jane gets taken back, and they go back to the special unit, and Chase is like, well, let's see what we can find out from the pod. Tie Sarah Jane down in front of it so it can infect her. And Keeler's like, no, that's evil, that's bad, that's horrible. And the doctor's watching this, from this spot on the roof, because he found a way up to the roof. And Sarah Jane and the pod's about to open. That's where episode 3 ends. Episode 4, the doctor jumps through the skylight into the special unit, grabs, knocks out Scroby. Literally he's already beaten him once before. Now he throws Scroby into the fireplace. Scroby hits his head and gets knocked out. Just a real beating, actually. For Doctor is not afraid of violence, especially in this serial. He grabs Scroby's gun. He grabs Sarah Jane. They get away. After they get away, Scroby kind of wakes up. In the meantime, the pod is opened, and the pod latches onto Keeler and infects Keeler. And Keeler's already starting to succumb really quickly because, a much warmer environment is my understanding why it's happening. So Chase sends Scroby out to find the doctor and Sarah Jane. And the butler, I forget his name. The butler comes, and Chase and the butler drag Keeler, who's infected, off to a particular, not a cabin. It's basically a cabin, but a little place on the estate. I guess a cabin on the estate. There's a better name for it. I forget what it is. Cottage on the estate, and they tie him down. He's already turning into the green thing, just like the guy did back in Antarctica. But Chase is so fascinated with him and the green thing, and how this is a new level for botany, that he literally will see it to the end, no matter whom it kills, or the entire world. So they have him tied down. He's turning into it. They feed him more protein sausage, so he will keep feeding the plants because he's made protein. That's what the plants are eating. And eventually, he's going to break free. All right, you good?
Yes.
Cool.
Are you good?
Yes.
Did you get lost?
No. So I'm on the part where Keeler's been tied down. He's in the cottage, and they're talking about.
I can see your flute.
Cool. All right. Don't adjust it. It should be good.
You put this squiggly line back in.
Yes, I did. I told you that earlier. It's all good. Don't mess with that.
What is this part for?
I don't know.
I think it hooks there, and then you screw the camera to it.
Alright. It's good. It's so good. What are you doing? Just...
I paid for the parts. I use the parts. Otherwise, it just goes to waste. Now it's a mascot. You have something to look at. That's your eyeline finder. That's what the part's for. It's the way you look at. So that's why it came with the bunch.
Okay. Anyways.
You lose if you don't make.
Anyways, the doctor is trying to escape so he can warn everybody. Warn, what's his name? Sir Thackeray?
Colin Thackeray?
Yeah, Sir Colin Thackeray.
Or Mr. Dunbar. You sound like you're getting toasty.
I'm getting there. He's trying to warn Sir Colin Thackeray. And so so the doctor's trying to escape. Well, he's trying to get the pod back. He doesn't know that it's affected Keeler. He hides Sarah Jane. He heads back to the house. He ends up going back to the room, finding out the pod's opened, and he gets Scroby goes in there and captures him. And the doctor's like, okay, who's infected? He's like, well, Keeler. And the doctor's like, this is bad. This is so bad. And Scroby's like, doesn't matter. And Scroby takes him to the compost room.
Mm-hmm.
In the compost room is this giant machine that turns anything to compost, like food waste, plant waste, and apparently any sort of animal waste. It's a giant crushing machine, and they couldn't do it because children's show have any red blood on there, so it's all green.
So you just imagine it.
Right. So they tie up the doctor and they put him in there where he's going to be crushed to death by this giant compost machine. Sarah Jane, in the meantime, finds Keeler, and Keeler's like, "Let me loose." She's like, "No." He's like, "I won't hurt you." She's like, "You say that now, but no." She goes and she ends up finding the doctor and rescuing the doctor. Is that the end of the 4th episode? Where the doctor's about to be crushed by the machine, and then she finds him at the beginning of the 5th?
No.
What's the end of the 4th episode?
The plant eats Dunbar.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this could have been the end of an episode, but it wasn't.
So they could have killed the doctor and then put him in the mulching machine. Make
No,
sure
no,
he
no,
doesn't
no.
escape.
No, but the bad guy's like, let me tell you my plan.
Put it on automatic. And
I
leave
expect
the
you
room.
to die, Mr. Jones.
So, Keeler's not doing so good in his hospital bed. Butler's been giving him sausage links for protein, but the infection continues to spread, so that Butler walks back in after Sarah Jane Smith snuck out to save the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And he is greeted by what it no longer appears to be Keeler, however, is now greeted by a tentacly plant who breaks out of its tied down ropings to the bed and starts to go on a rampage throughout the house. The butler runs to Mr. Chase and says, "Keeler, he's gone crazy, he broke out." And he's like, no. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. This is fine.
No. Wait. In the meantime, Mrs. Ducat has gone and she's talking to
Ducat.
Yeah, Ducat. She's gone, and she's talking to Chase about the money that he owes her, and she's also kind of getting an idea of what's going on inside. She runs into Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane says, "Please send help. We're kind of trapped here." She makes it out, and she tells Dunbar and Sir Thackeray,
Colin Thackeray,
hey,
he's been knighted.
Bad things are going on, and they're trying to get out. So Dunbar realizes things have gone way too far. He has an obligation to try and right the wrong of what he did. He goes in and he's trying to set things straight. He talks to Chase. Chase says, "Yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. We will take care of everything, and
you've already been paid for your part.
You've already been paid. You're good. Just keep your trap shut." And Dunbar's like, "No, can't do that. Don't tell the bad guy you're gonna rat him out. Just leave and do it later. Just never tell him."
So Mr. Chase says, "Good luck getting past the guards," and Dunbar pulls his
pistol, and
"We'll see."
Yep. Dunbar races off. He is being chased down by Scroby and the guards. He ends up bumping into the giant crinoid Keeler, who escaped, and he shoots at it, but the crinoid basically destroys him, kills him, eats him.
Sucks him up through the crinoid anus of the.
Yeah, it's not good. It's right in that proboscis. Remember that? So he dies. Children's show, or soon-to-be family show, and that's the end of episode 4. Anyway, episode 5, the Doctor, Sarah Jane bump into Scroby and the guards, and they're all firing at the crinoid, and they're like, "Don't waste your ammo, run!" And they all go to the cottage, and they end up inside the cottage, trying to survive and trying to stop the crinoid. Now the doctor has a plan. He's like, "Okay, we need to get out of here. I need to go alert the authorities and bring help. You guys need to get into the main building." So he tells Scroby to build a bomb. Scroby's the bomb guy. Scroby makes a Molotov cocktail.
They're being probed by tentacles.
Yeah, these
The doctor pokes it.
tentacles keep coming in. Yeah. So Scroby goes to the second floor, throws a giant Molotov cocktail at the thing. It kind of pulls back. The doctor runs out, and the crinoid chases the doctor. So then, while it's chasing the doctor, Scroby, Sarah Jane, and the guards make a beeline for the main house.
Already established that the crinoid can run a 2-minute half mile, so this is...
And the crinoid now talks and says, "Send out the doctor. I will spare your lives if you send out the doctor," because it acknowledges the doctor's intelligence and knowledge of aliens that could possibly defeat it.
So now we have another base defense situation where they're trapped inside of Chase's manor, and they have the crinoid outside.
Right, but
because the doctor gets to the car and the car's locked.
No, the doctor gets to the car and he takes off, and he goes and he tells Sir Thackeray. You continue. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick.
Okie dokie. So continuing on episode number 5, I have no idea what happened.
What do you mean? Oh, you fell asleep.
No, I was awake. So Mr. Chase is having some religious experience in his greenhouse, and he's talking to his plants. Yada yada yada. Something happens. The doctor got to the car, took off in the car to go warn Unit, apparently. So we're left with Scroby, Chase's guards and Sarah Jane Smith, who made a break for it after the doctor ran out and distracted the crinoid. They all basically come up with the same conclusion that Mr. Chase has gotten crazy. He needs to be stopped. Heather's gone. We can talk about whatever we want now. We can we can say all the things behind his back. I think he's getting a refill. So I think I fell asleep once or twice during this 6-episode serial, so I don't really remember what happens. But eventually, the doctor comes back with Unit, and the doctor has a little Unit bodyguard named Henderson. He doesn't last for very long. He's a red shirt Star Trekkie. They break in on Mr. Chase's, ceremony in his greenhouse where he's talking to the plants. At one point, Mr. Chase takes photos of the crinoid, and then the crinoid looks like it's about to eat him, and he starts talking to the crinoid. And he's like, "No, I'm on your side. Don't you remember me, Keeler? I can help you." And then apparently the crinoid didn't eat him, because we discovered that the crinoid is an intelligent plant species who can talk to people. That's why he bargained to get the doctor and spare the others. But anyway, so they bust in on Mr. Chase. They're trying to, reason with him. And they're saying, "We gotta get out of here. We gotta stop this. The plant is eating people." And this is where they realize that Chase is just off of his rockers. What's his last name? Harrison. Chase is the last name. Anyway, he's totally bonkers. He's talking to the plants. He's basically ignoring them, and he's talking about how all plant eaters must die, and plants are better than any other forms of life. And then, as if on cue, all the plants in the botany greenhouse in his house are coming to life, and they're trying to strangle the companions and everyone. So they're getting constricted and choked by these vines. Luckily, the doctor returns with the unit soldier Henderson, and they have some special military-grade plant killer that they're spraying on the plants. And then Chase is very upset by this because he's very much in love with his plants, so he curses at them and runs off. And so the special military-grade, weed killer stops the vines from constricting the companions and choking them. So,
are we on episode 6 yet?
Not yet. We're just talking about the special military-grade weed killer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The doctor came charging back in with Henderson, the unit soldier.
Sorry.
They sprayed the plants that were constricting people, and then they had this conversation. And they're like, Chase is completely off his rockers. He's talking to plants. And then the doctor says, "I don't know if that's really Chase anymore. Let's look at the evidence. He was taking pictures of the crinoid. The crinoid didn't eat Chase. So they're like, so that means the crinoid
controls Chase."
Yeah, it's like he's infected. He's controlled.
So Sarah Jane, and Sarah Jane and Scobie get saved. The butler dies. What's his name? Hargreaves dies. It's like our 11th death or something. So
you never hear about his brother Pauldrons?
No.
Hargreaves.
Breastplate. So the doctor and Sarah Jane and Scobie.
Greaves his armor.
Greaves and.
We don't spend very long grieving for Hargreaves.
Wait. And what's the name of the sergeant? Henderson. They all go. They run into the lab. The plants are moving and trying to break in from the greenhouse. They block the door.
Is the tripod touching the table? If I move the table,
don't do that.
Does it jostle the?
I don't think so. Don't do that. All right.
Okay.
So, Stop. Alright. So they decide they need to take out all the plants. They need to put the plants outside because the crinoid is trying to break in. So they start taking the plants outside, and the crinoid's like 40 feet tall, 60 feet tall, and they get locked out by
That's the Chase.
By Chase.
Locks the door behind
That's the
him.
end of episode 5. So there's this giant plant monster, Day of the Trippids thing, trying to kill them. And in episode 6, this is when Unit shows up with the laser gun. They point the laser gun at the crinoid. It looks a lot more like a photosynthesis gun because it doesn't. They don't have the special effects for a laser. They spent all their money renting out the manor.
And on the 5 jets that turned into 2 jets in the next shot.
Yeah. Well, eventually like 3 or 4, but so the doctor and everybody, once the crinoid gets kind of lured away by the shots, Unit retreats, the doctor, everybody gets back inside the house. Chase eventually kills Sergeant, what's his name? Henderson, which is really sad. He went off for more planks.
He hits
to
him
try
on the
and
back
block
of the head with a spanner.
Yeah.
A wrench, and then he tosses him into the mulch composter.
And it's a children's show still, so they can't show the red on the deal.
It's still
green.
very dark.
But it's very, very dark. I mean, like I said, this could have been 8 episodes, but it's 6.
Implied gore.
Yeah, just implied gore. Lots of things move very quickly. So the doctor is trying to fix this device to talk to Unit that Chase had kind of messed up. In the meantime, Scroby's gone around the bend. He's lost it, completely lost it. He decides to make a run for it. He runs outside into the mass of plants, and he gets killed in a lake, in a very pond.
So the plants around the house are being controlled by the crinoid, and they're entangling the doors, but he forces his way through that, and he breaks out into the clearing, so you think he's safe until he trips in the pond, and then he gets eaten by moss.
They kill him, So
that's the end of...
Sarah Jane goes off looking for the sergeant who's been killed.
Scorby.
Chase grabs her, puts her, and she's going to be destroyed by the mulching machine.
So half the cast has been in the mulching machine at this point.
Yeah. The doctor tells Unit to just bomb the living hell out of the crinoid, or it's going to destroy the world with all the spores.
It's gonna
think the little starfish in the new Suicide Squad. So
shit dumb movie.
It was a wonderfully fun movie. I liked it. It was done so well.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was great. It was
a good bad
great.
movie.
It was great.
Watch that on Sunday.
So the doctor ends up. They call him the strike. The doctor runs off. He finds Sarah Jane in the mulching thing, and he rescues her. And he gets attacked by Chase. They eventually wrestle and struggle, and Chase ends up being eaten by the mulching machine while the doctor gets out, tries to save Chase, but Chase is trying to pull him in.
Sarah Jane Smith is still bound, so she's like hopping.
She's trying to stop the machine. She can't.
Speeds up the machine.
Then the doctor rescues. Well, he's already rescued her. He unties her. They're trying to get out of the building before it gets blown up. They managed to find the steam pipes. The doctor uses that to kind of push away the plant life.
He takes the spanner from earlier to undo the steam pipe, and he uses his hat and his bare hand to keep the steam from escaping from the pipe until Sarah Jane Smith opens the door, and he sprays the hot steam.
Right.
So his hands are very cold resistant in our Antarctica without gloves. They're also very heat resistant. This scalding steam.
He's a Time Lord, yeah.
I feel like he's been affected by scalding steam before.
So they
like the Daleks, that's what they used in the prisons. They made it very hot and everyone passed out, including the doctor.
I don't know what you think about that.
All right, it's Hartnell.
So they run out. Oh, you're right. Actually,
so it's just his hands that are very temperate.
No. different generations. So they run out. They get past all the plants, and then the giant crinoid on the house was just destroying the house. It's been breaking it down, and pieces are falling in and stuff. Gets blown to smithereens finally by enough, tactical strikes from enough RAF, Royal Air Force hits. It's dead, and the doctor and everybody gets up. Then the doctor and Sarah Jane are in what's his name's?
Colin Thackeray.
Sir Thackeray's office, and they're like, "Okay, it's good. We're done. We're gonna go to Cassandra. They're talking about the
Arid Beach.
No, the Cassandra. What's the term for it in the sky?
Rainbow?
No, not a rainbow. Like the stars. It's
like the Milky Way.
Right. What's the term for that?
Belt. Yeah.
No, they're talking about Cassandra, the thing in the sky, the stars and all that. We're drunk. And they end up back in Antarctica, and they laugh because they don't know if they were going back or if they hadn't been there yet. And that's the end of the episode 6. Everyone's saved. The world is saved. The bad guys are destroyed, and they're all dead. There's a few good guys dead, but
10 people died.
I should take it. Well,
pretty dark theme.
10. I thought it was more.
Just 10.
Just 10. Mostly bad guys, but like 6 bad guys, 4 good guys.
Mostly good guys.
No.
So we have Charles, 3, Johnson, Derek, the 3.
3 in Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sergeant.
Anderson. And yeah, okay. About even.
Mostly bad guys. They all died, including Chase,
But
I'd say
Chase
rest in peace, but no. But he was such a good Bond villain. Yeah. He was fantastic as a Bond villain. Alright, so we had The Thing, we had Day of the Triffids, and we had a really good Bond villain all in this. It was a fantastic serial. What did you think?
I like Chase. With his gloves and his...
But what did you think of the whole
behaviors? I liked it all, yeah. It was very dark, very fun.
Very good.
This is a good one, yeah. I think this is going to be a good contender for our favorite of this season.
We will do our favorite of the season. Probably not next week because we're going to watch a movie night. But maybe the week after. So
Heroes and Villains next week.
Yeah, with the movie we'll do a Heroes and Villains. Well, we have so many to catch up on actually. Did you have any questions?
Crinoids. Do they have tear ducts? Did crinoids cry?
No.
Oh, okay. Plenty of orifices, but no tear ducts. We covered most of my questions. We talked about how the doctor never wears gloves in Antarctica, and he puts his hand on steam pipes. And we talked about the doctor's quote, "You must help yourselves," where he refuses to amputate the limb and puts that responsibility on the zoologist, and what his motivations were for that, because he's probably capable of doing that, but you said he was trying to help them help themselves.
Right.
It was a very dire situation. Needed to amputate arm, medical or salad dressing. Doctor hospitalizes someone with a punch. We see the Doctor doing a lot of violent things, like toting guns, punching people, cracking necks of Scrober.
Right.
Still complains about guns. Sarah Jane Smith says, "You have a gun. You're
not going to use it," but he says, "I don't know that."
Yeah.
Just be fair. The Doctor in the serial, I don't know. It's because the crinoids. He knows how deadly they are, but he is much more abrupt, much more loud, much more violent, and much more willing to basically lean on and yell at people in order to get what he needs done.
He's even willing to sacrifice himself and his companion and everyone else in the house to airstrike his current location
to make sure the world survives. He's very, very angry, sincere, and abrupt. It's wonderful. I do like this.
It's a side of the Doctor we haven't really seen with this
very often.
New generation.
Well, not as much with Tom Baker, but there's a little bit of that with Pertwee.
And Pertwee. Very much with
not
Pertwee.
As much
Yeah. Do we talk about the nature of how the Doctor hates guns, but because they kill people and he's more of a pacifist, but he uses swords all the time. He never really complains about swords capacity or spears, bladed weapons capacity to kill people, because he has no problem picking up a sword in self-defense, but he always, you get the feeling that he holds a gun with his thumb and forefinger at arm's length.
I can't wait to show you the End of Time Part 2.
Is that the one with the War Doctor?
No. That's the one with David Tennant.
I just think it's ironic that there are these two weapons that take lives, guns and swords, and he always, complains about people's tendencies to use weapons to take lives, and he's specifically referencing firearms, but there's something about swords that seem more sophisticated to him, and he's always willing to pick up a sword and stab a plant or have a sword fight with someone.
And occasionally he picks up a gun, but there's a scene.
He would never shoot a gun.
There's a scene in the end,
he would use a sword.
No, there's a scene in the End of Time Part 2 where his companion, Wilfred Mott, tries to give him a gun. Doctor says no. Wilfred Mott tries to give him the gun. The Doctor says no. They do that 3 or 4 times, but then the Doctor finds out it's a Time Lord's. Mm-hmm. And he grabs the gun and runs towards it. And it's like, holy crap. He turned it down 4 times and then he grabs it. It's, oh my gosh, it's so good. Love that scene.
He used a gun just recently. Not like a firearm gun, but like a laser gun. Was it Brain of Morbius? No. It might have been when we were in Vegas or Pyramids of Mars. Also, we made a bet during Pyramids on Mars. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was either.
Parallax coil. I think about the pronunciation of something.
Okay. Do you have any other questions about the current serial?
Swords. I think we mostly went through the rest of it during the recap. We talked about Scorby's neck being cracked. Blonde villain.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Swords.
I think
all plants eaters must die. Yeah, that's all. That's all my questions.
All right.
Next time.
So next time we'll do some heroes and villains because we're gonna watch a movie, and we got a bunch of heroes and villains to catch up on. And the time after that, we will do what's the next serial?
The Mask of Mandarins.
The Mask of Mandragora. Mandragora. And we will hopefully do our favorite serial of this season.
Oh, yeah. We'll vote. And it's not spelled M-A-S-K?
M-A-S-Q-U-E. Mask.
Is that still a face mask, or does that mask mean something else?
M-A-S-Q-U-E. Look,
that's just a different...
right there. Mask of Mandragora.
That's a different way of spelling M-A-S-K? Mask? It's the same thing, spelled differently?
I'm not 100% sure.
Me either.
But we're getting into the 3rd season of Tom Baker, the 14th season overall, and we get to watch it on Blu-ray. Yay!
I don't know why they don't do the Blu-rays in order.
Well, no, they're doing all of them slowly but surely.
Is it in order of popularity? Is that what they do?
No, they're kind of scattering it out so they don't.
The BBC.
Okay. The BBC currently.
They never make sense.
They're animating all the lost episodes, and slowly but surely releasing everything on Blu-ray for the seasons. But the production. Okay, so yesterday, the final episode of Series 13 aired. The final episode of Flux aired.
You haven't seen season 13 yet?
No, I have no way of seeing it. I don't have BBC America. So I have to wait till it comes out on Blu-ray in February. And then I'll watch it. It's 299th serial of Doctor Who, and it's in 6 parts. When we watch it, it'll be like the Daleks' Master Plan. It'll basically be 6 hours of drinking, and then
it'll be like a decade from now.
Yeah, no, 6 years. Anyway,
I'll beat that long by then.
No, you won't. So anyway,
that's so far away.
So that's like a good ways from now. 299th serial. We're on the 85th.
Are they gonna have a big 300th serial special?
No, their numbering is a little weirder than different than ours, and their 300th will be the New Year's Day special. Anyway, hold on. So
that discrepancy is caused by things like the Americas define serials differently because of things like Mission to the Unknown and the Daleks' Master Plan. They kind of lumped together versus being 2 separate serials.
No, it's caused for 2 other things. One is Trial of a Time Lord in the UK is counted usually as 1 serial, where here it's 4.
Oh.
And Shada.
Are we gonna watch it as 1?
No, it's 4.
Oh.
And Shada is given a full serial number here, where there may or may not be counted.
Because it's decanonized.
No, it's not decanonized.
That's Scream of the Shocklow.
Yes, it's Scream of the Shocklow. It's decanonized.
Shada's the animated one?
Half animated, half real.
And it's one doctor who only gets 1 serial.
4th Doctor.
4th Doctor, 1 serial. Then we're on to the 5th. I don't know.
The current Doctor we're watching, the 4th Doctor.
Oh, he's animated.
Alright.
So
the serial was 6.
It's half animated like Congress and like Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah, there was going to be 6 episodes. Half of it was filmed, half of it was not because of a strike with the...
So they animated it.
So later on, much later on, 25, 30 years later on, they animated the missing bits.
So they only
because
aired...
everyone was actually still alive. So it's now been aired as 1 single big-ass episode covering everything.
So we only count it as 1 serial.
1 serial, 1 episode. Because it was broadcast that way on the CBC.
Oh. Even though back in the day, it was initially broadcast
it
as 3 episodes.
Was going to be 6 episodes.
They never broadcast any of it?
No.
Oh.
But it's now been broadcast as 1 episode on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Was that canon?
Yeah, it was broadcast and it's
Canadian?
real. Yes.
It wasn't broadcast on the BBC?
No.
Oh.
Not to the best of my knowledge. It has been broadcast and it's canon.
If it's not BBC, it's not canon.
No! Have you never listened to anything? Alright.
I thought it had to be BBC to be canon.
No.
Not Canadian BC.
Okay.
CC,
So
BC. BBC.
The TV movie was broadcast on Fox.
CBBC. Fox, that's American. That's definitely not canon.
No, it's canon.
On Fox?
Yes, it's canon.
Fox is not the BBC.
It's canon.
Where do you set this bar of canonicity?
What the BBC says is canon.
They don't say anything's canon.
No, they do. They say what's not canon. Alright. Anyway, so next week we're going to watch a movie. We're going to do some heroes and villains. Have fun with that.
By that definition, that also means all the fan-made stuff is canon.
No. Well, no. Alright. And then we'll see you in a couple weeks' time for Mask of Mandragora / our voting on this series' best serial.
/ heroes and villains / next couple of weeks, yeah. We're not taking any time off anytime soon. We're running into Christmas at some point.
We will probably have some time off for Christmas.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. Alright.
3 weeks.
No. A week from now, Heroes and Villains. 2 weeks from now, Mask of Mandragora, hopefully.
3 weeks from now,
so we can get sick. 3 weeks from now, what?
We're going to have Monday off at some point.
Wait. Today's the 6th. 3 weeks from now is the 27th.
And then there's New Year's. Usually they'll drink after New Year's.
Yeah, we'll deal with that when the time comes, okay?
We don't
Goodbye! Bye! It's the button right here.
I got it.